What?
Thank you guys so much for joining us again on,
Hey,
on our podcast.
people love these bloopers, bro.
We hope you loved the last video, and hopefully you'll love this video. Just remember, my name is Jose. This is Rafa.
Rafa. Fuck. Okay, start all over.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Hopefully you guys loved our last video. And if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. This is R&J Talks. My name is Jose. This is Raf.
Yeah, guys. Again, if you guys did like that last video or you guys like any of the past videos, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys follow us on our social medias. TikTok, Instagram. Also subscribe on our YouTube channel. But today, I think there's a story that was circulating around the internet, I think in the last week or two. Cain Velasquez, you're a big UFC guy.
Yeah.
Right? So former UFC fighter. I don't know if you want to touch base on his background. I don't know too much about him. I just know the story that just came out.
So obviously today we're going to be talking about a little bit about fatherhood, right, in regards to that. Cain Velasquez was a heavyweight championship fighter who was a Mexican-American fighter, and he was a great one. He was a great fighter. I honestly, I loved watching him because the one thing about him was it was more of his cardio and his technique.
Right.
And he wasn't like a chubby heavyweight. He was like a more lean heavyweight.
Yeah.
Mean heavyweight, Mexican pride on his chest, like what you want, right? And obviously, like you said, the story came around where this happened in 2022, right?
Mhm.
Where it was allegedly, but he did actually chase, right, a certain man, and actually ended up like shooting his car. I think he ended up even shooting his stepdad of the guy. The reason he did it, though, for me, is where it kind of, I don't know what I would do in that situation, because the person he was actually trying to shoot molested his then-year-old. I believe he was 4 years old.
Right.
What would you like? It's crazy. Like I can't even wrap my head around it. Like, what would you do in that situation?
Yeah, it's crazy. So I think what I read was I think the kid was in daycare, and I don't know if this guy worked there or not, but I know that this guy had a previous offense of molesting kids. But yeah, he obviously chased the guy around. I think he rammed the other guy's vehicle with his own truck, and I think he was like shooting at him. And I think he ended up shooting his stepdad, like you said. But I honestly don't know what I would do. Obviously, him being a father, me being a father, is like, yeah, that shit pisses you off, bro. Like, how the fuck are you gonna molest a kid, bro? Like, really, like, it's insane. So I think I'm not gonna say it warrants the action that he did. I think he later apologized for it and admitted that it wasn't the right way to do. But how can you blame the guy for doing what he did? You can't. I think in that moment, like I don't know if you've ever gotten so pissed off, and I can't imagine to that degree, but you gotten so pissed off, all you see is red, and you just can't think. You just angry. You want to fucking hurt something,
Yeah, I have been to the point where I have been angry and like it's like kind of like a blackout, to be honest with you. So I can only imagine the fact that he just blacked out, wanted to just, 'cause I'd want, obviously we don't want to use those words so loosely, but like I would kill someone for my daughter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would hope that no one would mess with my daughter or anything like that. For him, it was his son, right? At the end of the day, like as fathers, as parents, we provide and we protect.
Right.
Right. I believe those are the two main things, and so he was just trying to protect.
Yeah.
His son.
Right, and kind of like you hint, like the main thing is protect, right? So having someone do that to your kid, I could already imagine, like you kind of already feel like you let him down, because you weren't there to protect him.
Yeah.
Like me, for example, there was a case and or there was a situation where so my daughter was playing around with the dog, and it was a pit bull, right? And the pit bull wasn't. It's not really aggressive. It's just like a big dog. Doesn't really know what he's doing. He just doesn't know how strong he is, so he kind of fucks around. But in this instance, we were all hanging out. My daughter was playing with the dog, and out of nowhere, like the dog just jumps up and like bites her in the cheek. And for me, I remember like just having that like second of like, what the fuck just happened, right?
Yeah.
And not being like like obviously like my daughter's in danger, but in that like I froze for like a second or two. That's something I always remember, bro. Like I froze for a second too, and like I'm pissed at myself for not reacting like right away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like just jump into her aid. And it was only like a second or two. So it's stuff like that is like your parental instinct, just a man instinct in general, just to really protect. And you kind of do feel like a failure when the people you care about kind of get hurt.
But then it's crazy in that situation, right? So obviously, Kane went and tried to shoot him,
Yeah,
right? Dog kind of like launched himself to your daughter. In that second, like, I know it's not the right thing
yeah,
to do, but you want to kick the shit out of this dog.
absolutely, absolutely.
So, like, you're in that, do I do something bad, or like,
Yeah,
do I calm myself down? And like, I mean, obviously I'm a future parent, like I'm a future dad. Like I
hmm
don't know like the what I would do with that in that second, but like for you, I can only imagine if I kick the shit out of his dog, I could get in trouble.
yeah,
But if I don't protect my daughter, like now my daughter's gonna think she's not safe around
yeah.
me. Like how do you deal with that? You know what I mean?
It's just
Like
kind of a case by case, bro. Again, in that situation, like you don't really think. You see red, right? You're like a bull. You see red. You're angry, and again, sometimes we don't know. We can't control ourselves when we're angry. I think a man who can't control himself with his anger has done a lot of amazing work. But for Kane, like the severity of that, like, dude, he molested your 4-year-old son. Like, I don't know, bro. I'd be pissed. Obviously I don't want to say like he wasn't in the wrong, but
yeah.
again, you can't blame the guy.
Yeah, I mean even the UFC backed him up, and you know, back to what he did.
Yeah,
Not to a sense of like, oh, go kill someone, right? But like protect his own, right?
yeah,
And they came out and did a statement on that. And I just think it's one of those, like you said, every case, every situation is a different
yeah,
case. So it really just depends. Um, but as dads, right? As dads, providers, protectors, did you feel like that growing up? Like what was your experience like?
like with my dad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I never really had a relationship with my dad,
Mm-hmm.
so I never really got that vibe. I mean, my mom wasn't even around much. She
Mm-hmm.
had to work 2 jobs. But my relationship with my dad, it was kind of almost non-existent. I think in the beginning it's just him seeing us every once in a while, and I remember I'd be so excited when he'd pick us up, like once in a blue moon. Take us to Toys R Us and
Mm-hmm.
drop a bill on any game that I wanted. And at that time, I thought that was love. I thought that was like, that was legit. But nowadays, I'm like, nah, dude, like, it's not it.
Yeah.
So I never had that. I never had that security like from like a father figure. So everything that I know now is just based off instinct, based off me learning on my own, and knowing that it's my job to obviously protect and provide. And it kind of goes like I've seen that in you. Like we like the thing about us is like we do protect our own, like, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I remember going out to like bars with each other, like when we were just turned 21, and we'd always go with like a bunch of like female friends,
Mm-hmm.
but we were always like on top of them, right? We were always like guarding them, making sure like no creeps were like pulling around. And I remember I was pulling up through my phone the other day, and I don't remember who we went with, but we went obviously with some girls, and um, the video was like you you talking to this girl like bro, like I told you not to make out with them, and you fucking did, and now I'm pissed. Like, but it just goes to show, like we were out there protecting our friends, and that girl ended up like, I don't know if she went home with them or something like that, but
Mm.
that's just our instincts. That's what we do. Anyone who's around our circle or close to us, like we got them, and it's just what we do. So it's not just like a fatherly instinct. I think it's a man instinct, but it enhances when you're a dad.
I think it's funny that you brought that up, right? Because I remember a situation where, and there's a reason, and this is like a little bit off topic, but not.
Yeah,
There's a reason why at the bar, at the club, anywhere I went, my famous thing, hands up, don't shoot, and that's how I'm walking.
I remember that. I remember that.
That's how I'm walking around because I'm not being accused of touching anybody,
Yeah,
male or female.
yeah.
Like, I don't care. And in this case, you got accused.
Do you remember
of grabbing
that?
some girl's ass. And
Yeah,
I remember I was like, why is this dude taking so long in the bathroom? All of a sudden, I see 5 people around
yeah,
me, and I'm in dog mode. I was like, who the fuck are we fucking up?
yeah,
I go up there, and I'm just like, what's going on? These motherfuckers are accusing me of touching her ass. What ass? And we're
Yeah, dude. She had no fucking ass. I was
I
like,
was
are you
like, what
serious right
ass?
now? Like,
I was like, why don't you just go calm your girl? And I remember as soon as they
yeah,
saw me come walking by, they all just
yeah.
started screaming their own way. But
That was weird, bro. I just came out of the bathroom and she points at me. She's like, that guy. I was like, what?
so it is funny that you say, like, right? You
Yeah.
and I, that's kind of like our nature. And it's just a man's nature, right? Like my dad growing up, it was it. I mean, you obviously didn't have a relationship with your dad. I had a different relationship. Like it just wasn't. It was kind of like non-existing. So I still remember to this day, Monday through Friday, me and my sister would walk to school. It was like a mile and a half away from our house. We would walk to school every morning. We'd walk back. Um, my dad would work double jobs when it came to. I would never see him, dude. I would never see him unless it was Wednesday, because Wednesday was when he was off from his night job, which was it was like a Mexican version of a Blockbuster called Diego's. Yeah,
By what's that fucking dance club? Like Goyas.
Goyas. It was right next to Goyas.
Yes.
So, and it's a lot. And fuck, he's just a young dad, but I would never see him. And then Wednesdays, I would just see him sleeping. Like
Yeah.
it was just that was it. So I never saw him. And come to find out, he would always like after work, slip a few into Goyas and just go into Goyas, and that's why I never saw him. So it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But I didn't know that until further on. And so I would only see him Wednesdays, and it was just sleeping. It was like, damn. And I knew if like he woke up, like he was ready to like either my mom told him some shit and he's about to like discipline me, or I'm scared. Like anytime my dad walked around the house, it was fucking scary because I was scared. But it was funny because I was scared of him. But then on the weekends, he would be playing in the Sunday leagues.
No way.
Yeah, so he'd be playing Sunday leagues because he used to love playing soccer, and I would watch him play soccer. My mom would take us. My mom would kind of just sit there, and I was always trying to run around, trying to follow the line, like where my dad was playing, whatever. And it was his time to decompress, but at the same time, like he never spent time with me. Realistically. And so I would just watch him, and I'd watch him, but like I don't know if that was like he was providing obviously for us, like for sure. Like we never missed a meal, like we never had no clothes to like put on, so it was always him providing for us, but I never felt that protection of him. It's like a blanket, you know what I mean? Like a blanket that I felt like safe and secured until like recently, like as we got older. And it caused a lot of friction. So for me, like I never learned that. So now fast forward to now, and like him trying to do that is kind of weird. Like you've seen our interactions, like we'll kind of side hug.
Yeah.
We'll kind of dap each other up first, and then it's kind of like a weird little side hug. But it's just us like actually trying to show affection. But like now that I'm gonna have my own, like it's kind of like that's not what I want.
Right.
That's not what I want for my daughter. Like I want her to feel like, you throw on that blanket over and it's kind of nice and warm and a little heavy. You're just like, oh, this is so nice, and you feel nice and protected, and that's what I want to do. But that was just my experience, like with my dad.
Yeah, but it kind of goes back to what we have talked about in previous episodes, that generational curse, like back then, that's what dads knew. Just, you have clothes on your back, you have food on the table. Like I did my job,
Yeah.
Now getting to our generations where we do want to be more affectionate with her, because I'm super affectionate. Like you've seen me with my baby girl, like I'm like the softest fucking teddy bear when I'm around her, and it's funny because like till this day, like when she's with me, like she'll still sleep with my bed. She wants to cuddle with me. Like she loves that. Like she does not want to sleep alone. Like I'll leave her alone at night. Or I won't leave her alone, but I'll leave her in my room at night to go to the gym, and she's like, no, like I want you to sleep with me. Like I'm not gonna go to sleep. Like I want you to sleep with me. So I have to get in there and cuddle with her until she falls asleep. Then I can dip, But hold on, we're having some technical difficulties. Hey, shout out to her. Was it Athena?
Yeah, it was probably one by there.
But
we were getting somewhere.
Yeah, but it's what we want to be now, right? We're rewriting the story on what fatherhood is, and I think it's good. I think it's again our generation, there's a lot. Obviously, there's still a lot of deadbeat dads. Um, I fucking hate them. But our generation, the ones who are there, they are more present than than what fathers used to be in the past. Like we're a lot more focused and interactive with their kids' life, and I think that's a huge step in fatherhood.
Yeah, but with all the deadbeats, right? There's always see those great fathers. Like I would say, you're a great father, right? And obviously, you know, being a single dad, um, the system kind of works against you, you know.
Yeah,
So I know, like at least my dad, at some point in time, he wanted to have like full custody, and I
yeah,
knew that that was not going to happen because,
right.
like, you know, judges or whatever you want to call it side with moms all the time. But what is your experience like with that? Like the system not helping, men that are trying to.
Yeah, well, again, just men in general just don't have the same support that women have.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're prideful. We don't
Yeah.
like depending on other people. We really sometimes we can't even depend on other people.
Yeah.
Like typically the moms will have moral support, emotional support, financial support from either their own family, or other people. They end up finding a new guy or whatever. But for guys, it's a lot more challenging. Kind of like you said, the whole custody thing. I think the system kind of benefits the mom a lot more because who does a kid spend the time most time with? The mom, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because the dad's at work, right? So I think the dads kind of get the the shitty end of the stick because obviously they're at work, they're trying to provide, and the system's just like, well, you're not spending enough time with your kid. Why should we award the kid to you?
Mm-hmm.
Which sucks, because again, it kind of goes down with that history of bad fathers, like, so it's and sometimes like it what's the word? What's the fucking word? It discourages men from even trying,
Yeah.
just because of how rigged the fucking system is. So, the women can put you on child support. The woman can take away your kids, threaten to take away your kids. There's not really much we can do, like, and it's funny because like women can even lie for that shit. There's been
Mm-hmm.
cases where like women lie about getting beaten about,
Mm-hmm.
and even goes back to what we said about protecting their image. Like sometimes men don't want to admit with the shit that they've gone through, because sometimes it's embarrassing.
Mm.
But yeah, dude, I'm not. It's a struggle, and kind of. There's actually a story that came out recently. Um, it's not really like child support stuff, but there was a guy who left his 3 kids at a McDonald's playground
Mm.
for a job interview, right? And I was watching the comments, and a lot of people were shitting on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And obviously so, right? You're not supposed to fucking leave your kids at a McDonald's
Yeah.
playground,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. No.
But
100%.
it's like at the same time, like you kind of feel bad for him because it's like he's trying to do the right thing. He just obviously didn't go about it the right way, right? One of the kids was 1 years old, the other one was like I think 4, and the other one was like 10. But he's trying. He's again, it wasn't the right way to do it,
Yeah.
but he's trying. Some people don't have that support. Some people don't have that
Yeah.
family. Like, hey, can you watch my kids for an hour?
Mm-hmm.
So what is he supposed to do? One, do what he did, leave the kids at a fucking McDonald's, or two, like you don't go to job interview, you don't get a job, and your kids fucking starve.
Yeah.
What options do men really have? You don't really have many options. Me, I can't move away. I can't find a different job um, that kind of fucks with my schedule a lot, because that works against me,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm stuck in where I am, trying to please the mom, and a lot of times it's like that, like, and it's crazy because like nowadays, like I get kind of how I talked about deadbeat dads.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that will never be me. Like I'll always be there for my kid, but sometimes I understand why some men just like dip,
Yeah.
dealing with the shit they deal with, like
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's a lot. So I don't agree with it,
Mm-hmm.
but I understand. I see why they do what that did. But then some guys are just dipshits and just fucking dipping regardless.
Yeah, because you can say, right, like obviously he let's just say it was the right intentions, right?
Mhm.
He left the kids at McDonald's to try to get a job to try to better their future, right? Obviously there's a movie that came out way long ago, Pursuit of Happiness,
Yeah.
right? Will Smith, Jaden Smith, killer movie.
Yeah.
Still watch it to this day here and there. That movie's sad,
dude.
bro.
That's a fucking iconic movie, man. I
Yeah,
love that movie. It makes me tear up every time.
100%. Like that movie is sad in a way. Like the level of emotion of how the father, because wasn't it based off a true story?
Yeah, I think so.
The way the father provided so much for his son and did everything he could to also provide for himself because he was trying to get a good job.
Yeah.
He was trying his balls off to try to get a good job, provide for his son, and be there. And so would it have been, I guess the question would be, would it have been better for him to show up at the interview? Like, what would you do, right? You're in a position where you hire people, right? So what would you do? And this is probably biased now, but like, what would you do? Dude shows up, older dude shows up, 3 kids. Hey, I'm sorry I couldn't get a babysitter. I'm here for the interview.
Do you know, honestly, and again, as someone who does hire people, and I hate to say it, bro, but that's a red flag for me, dude. Like, just baggage, right? And that will right off the bat tells me this guy's his home, his personal life is fucked up. Like, I don't know if he's gonna bring these issues to the workplace, So honestly, as much as I would love to give that dude a chance, and maybe he'd have to like fucking blow my socks off for me to give him a chance, bro. But I don't know, dude. Dude, bring you to fucking kiss an interview. As a hiring manager, I can't.
But see how the system
exactly. But yeah, it's
like even you saying like.
So again, I understand why he did what he did. Obviously. I mean, would you? What would you do?
I'm a little more lenient, to be honest with you, in my hiring process. But I would really have to, like you said, he wouldn't have to blow my socks off, but I would really have to have like a conversation with him, like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, what is this for? Like, if obviously there's every company probably has this, but there's a 90-day trial, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone. If you don't work out, like later.
I don't know, dude. California is really hard to fire people nowadays. This is a pain in the ass.
It is. For us, it's really hard.
Yeah.
Like where I work, you can get 2, 3, 4 write-ups. It's hard to get fired. But there's ways. But obviously, I would really have a conversation. Like for me, I don't know, man. Like I'm a softie at heart.
Yeah.
So
I mean, so am I, but works different.
I'm way softer than you are, to be honest with you. Yeah, you can pull out my little heartstrings and I'll start, pulling whatever I need to do. But I would have to have a conversation and be like, hey, what's going on? But just like you said, probably another hiring manager would be like, no, Jose, like we're not moving forward. I'd be like, sorry, man.
Think about this. This guy, his performance is gonna affect your work, right?
Mm-hmm.
His personal life is gonna come into your workplace, and I've done it before, bro. I've hired people who I've given him plenty of chances, bro, and it's backfired me almost every single time. So I mean, maybe it'd be different, but and he knows this. It's happened recently too. But yeah, it's because your job's online too.
There's a difference between desperately hiring and hiring.
No, that one wasn't a desperate hire. It was more of like, I see potential in you.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can bring it out.
Okay.
And you come with some baggage.
Yeah.
And I think I can kind of help you navigate towards a good path.
Yeah.
And I thought I was doing that, but in this case, it just backfired on me. And I was too lenient, and where it started affecting my team, my whole team, my operation as a whole, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So, but I mean, I would probably still take chances on people, but at that magnitude, for someone to bring in their 3 kids to a job interview, who do you have people to watch your kids while you're coming to work? Like most likely not. If you don't even have someone to watch them while you come to an interview, like how many times are you gonna call off?
There's definitely a lot of questions than there is answers when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Do we feel bad for them?
100%.
100%. Like I wish. I mean, that guy from Pursuit of Happiness. I forgot his name, right? But he made it happen.
Yeah.
Right. He went to homeless shelters. Like that's not
And
frowned
this
upon.
and the scene where he like sleeps in the bathroom with his
Oh
kid, bro, breaks my
fuck,
heart, dude.
his leg right
Yeah,
there.
crying, just
Someone's
holding him,
trying.
trying to keep him asleep. Ah, dude. But that just kind of goes to show, like the mom left him
Yeah,
because he wasn't making it. You know, like
yeah.
she lost faith in him, rightfully so. I think if again our job is to protect and provide. If we're not doing, then I feel like the women does have legit reason to leave. We're
Yeah.
not holding our end of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
It's what we're supposed to do, and if we're not doing it, then it's fair game. But I don't know. There was a kid involved in that movie, so I think it should have been different. She was kind of bitch for leaving, but it just goes to show like a real man will do what he needs to do to get shit done. And he made it happen. And again, it's an inspiration to men, fathers. Just keep working.
And even just now, right? Even just now, because you brought up a good point, like about the protect, but even earlier, we think highly of those, right? Like celebrities, athletes, and now we get to see a lot of their private life because social media is just so open, right? So, for instance, the situation you brought up with LeBron James, Stephen A. Smith, which you hate Stephen A. Smith for
I
your own
hate him
reasons,
with a passion, bro.
but
I hate him as an analyst. As a man now, I have a little bit more respect for him.
yeah.
But as an analyst, he's always shitting on my boys, so yeah, fuck that guy.
But the Cowboys, yeah, they've given
Shut up,
him,
shut the fuck up.
all right. I'm just saying they've given him a little fuel to.
Yeah, no, yeah.
So
Yeah.
but what I was trying to get to, right, is he made comments about his son, right? His son, obviously, Bronny James. You guys don't know LeBron James, big time basketball player. His son, Bronny James, just got drafted right to the basketball team. His dad's
To the
team,
Lakers, yeah.
which-
Same team.
the Lakers. And he's not as good as people.
He sucks. And I don't play basketball, and I don't know basketball.
He
He
I'm
shouldn't be
not
in the
gonna
league.
say that because I cannot hoop for the life of me. But
We can say that as a spectator.
no, because
Yeah, dude. You talk shit on my boys. You're not a fucking pro football player.
them boys suck, bro.
See what I mean? Bronny sucks.
All right,
Yeah.
you can say that. You can say that if you want. But anyways, his son hasn't been playing with the Lakers often. He's been dropped to the G League actually
Because he sucks.
to try to give. But he's 18 years old.
Oh, shit. Well, he's doing a lot better than I was at 18.
That's what I'm saying. I can't say he sucks that bad.
I guess.
He, they put him in the G League to try to like get, his rhythm going, right? Which he did. He caught, but at the same time, like it's just not good enough. Obviously, right? Cowboys have a standard high, right? If you don't make it, you're cut like later. That's how it is for the Lakers. And so Stephen A. Smith was commenting on Bronny James. Do I think that he took it a step and made it personal? I don't think so, because I think he's I don't want to say very good analyst, but he's an analyst. Like he's
a well-known analyst.
He separates personal with with what he's speaking, right?
He's a professional.
But then LeBron comes to his son's defense at a game.
What were the comments though? Do you know?
The comments was basically in regards of him playing basketball and not being a good enough basketball player. And then during a game, LeBron James stops Stephen A. Smith and basically like dogging him. And they started disputing back and forth, like him in his show, and then LeBron on a different podcast. And LeBron was saying like it's not the fact that he's talking about my son's basketball career; it's the fact that he's talking about my son.
Yeah.
So even like as celebrities, like you see that protection, like you see like him with his dad eyes, like with his dad heart, like, nah, you attacking my son? Fuck you, dog. Like, it's on site. Like, hell no, square up. And you mentioned Stephen A. Smith had something to say.
Yeah, I think he came out and said, kind of acknowledging the whole situation. He was like, yeah, LeBron James, he did, come up to me. We did have that altercation, but that wasn't LeBron James, the basketball player. That wasn't LeBron James, the celebrity. That was LeBron James, the dad.
Yeah.
And he was just standing up for his son, which is the right thing to do, So like you said, you see it in celebrities, and even someone as great as LeBron James, like it's your kid, bro. Like it's like when it comes to your kids, like you you kill for your kids, bro. Like you kill for your kids, you know. Like, so whatever. Again, I don't know what Stephen A. Smith said, but you know, the fact that he acknowledges that, you know, he was like, okay, yeah, you know, maybe that's why he came up to me. That's why we had that altercation, you know. So it kind of made me respect him a little bit more, even though I
Yeah.
fucking hate him as an analyst. But makes me respect him more as a man that he was able to kind of see it that way through those lenses. Because a lot of guys would be like, nah, fuck that. He came up to me like he wants to start some shit and blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
you know, throw some shade back. But
you also said you respected him more from something that he said.
yeah, I saw another video, and I think this time it was regarding the NFL. I don't know what exact situation it was.
I think I remember reading it. It was when Tua got his like latest concussion.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So Tua got oh dude, I feel bad for the guy. But yeah, people were talking about how he should retire, and you know, because he has a family, he has a future outside of football.
Mm.
And I think one of the things that Stephen A. Smith was said, it was like, you know, as a man, you know, like there's sacrifices that you make. There's, you know, would he love to spend more time with his family? Yes. Would he love to spend more, be there for his daughters more? Yes. But you know, he can because he's a man. He has to provide. You know, and do they resent him for not being around much? Yes. But he knows what it's like to struggle. He knows what it's like to starve growing up, and he says that he's going to do what it takes, even if they hate him for it, to make sure that they're in a better place, right? And as guys, like that's what we do. Like we think ahead. Like even if we have to be the bad guy, if we have to say no, if we have to, you know, keep them from doing something, it's like your kid trying to go to a party, right? Like teenager trying to go to a party. You know the dangers that go on a party. We've been to parties, like we know, or going to clubs, like you know whether it's your female or your daughter or whatever. Like we know the dangers that are out there. And yes, you're gonna hate us for us saying no, but at the end of the day, that's for us to protect you because that's what we do, right? Us being at work, us sacrificing time to spend time with our family, it benefits them because we have to bring the food to the table. You know, like I would love to spend, I would love to be a stay-at-home dad, bro. But you know, I would love to have millions where I'm not worrying about money and I can just spend every fucking minute that I can with my daughter. But I
Yeah.
can't. That's not realistic. You know.
I'll turn into Mr. Clean real quick. Clean the fucking house, you know.
Yeah, but you know that's not realistic, and you know the things that I have to do, the sacrifices that I have to make sure that my daughter's gonna be good is, you know, that's gonna go unnoticed with a lot of dads, with a lot of men.
Yeah.
But that comment, that video, kind of made me respect, or it really made me respect him a lot more as a man, as an analyst. I still hate him, but as a man, I respect him a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's parenthood, right? Parenthood, fatherhood.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is through our lenses of men. This is something that even to me, like I'm seeing now a lot, like Chris Rock saying there's only what's it that he said? There's only something about just love. Women will be loved unconditionally.
Women, dogs, and children.
Yes.
Are loved unconditionally. Men are loved on the condition that he provides something.
Yes. And then he said it. He goes, how many people does it take to carry a couch? 2. It's like if you do it yourself. He said something about a couch. And then I was just like, damn, like yeah, if I don't bring, like if I can't carry anything or if I can't do something for you, like they're gonna drop me like a fly.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why, like for me, it's important that I need to bring something. Like for me, I work a lot.
Yeah.
I know you work a lot too. Our IT guy is looking to work somewhere else.
He's got eye bags already because he's like tired of us overworking him.
Overworking him, you know.
Shout out to our IT guy.
Yeah, shout out to our IT guy. He knows how to put logos here. So we're expecting a logo.
Insert.
Here. Have a fucking logo.
Insert social media here.
Whenever we say it, it inserts here.
Yeah. Put everywhere.
But what I'm saying is like, right, we all work so much. Like obviously you have something to work for, I have something to work for. Like, dude, sometimes the other day I was done. I was absolutely like over it. I was in the shower, I was crying. I was like, dude, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm fucking exhausted. I call my buddy Christian. I was like, yo, dude, it's an all-nighter. He goes, dude, I pulled my first all-nighter because he has a job that he's doing real quick. I was like, how does it feel? He goes, dude, it's terrible. I was like, yeah, tell me about it. I do it 3 days a week. Dude. Like, this shit fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But it brings value to me because I bring something home.
Right.
You know, my lady's like, oh, I kind of want to get my nails done and stuff for my baby shower, and I'm just like, I got you. Don't worry.
But it goes back to what like I told you last time, right? Men and happiness isn't. It's not. We don't really search for happiness, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
We don't care about happiness. We don't care about finding happiness. We care to be useful. We want a purpose, right? And your purpose is obviously trying to make your woman happy. Your purpose is setting your kid up for success, and that in a way does make us happy because
Yeah.
it provides us a purpose and it makes us useful. But yeah, that's kind of just what I wanted to throw in there.
Yeah. So I think, I mean, did going back right to what we talked about, did Cain do the right thing? I think taking laws into your own hand, not the right way to
Yeah.
go. But can I see myself doing that? Probably.
Absolutely.
I see myself doing
Absolutely.
that.
You know, again, you can't blame the guy,
No.
but even if you did kill him, bro, like your kid's
Yeah.
gonna grow up without you. You know, like
Yeah.
that's now you're punishing the kid too, that he gets to live his life without you.
Do I blame? What was that guy's name?
I think his name was Chris Lewis,
Chris Lewis. I'm gonna call him the McDonald's guy.
McDonald's guy.
Did the McDonald's guy do the right thing by leaving his kids
Nope.
In the playground? No. Do I see myself ever doing that? No. Honestly, I don't ever see myself doing that. Not judging what he did because he tried to do it for a better reason.
Right.
But I would have gone a different route. To be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah.
I would have brought him to the interview. I would have, a 1-year-old, 4-year-old, and a 10-year-old. Like you can't leave them in the car.
Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't do that. Third of all, did LeBron James kind of like overreact protecting his son, from the media? I think a little bit, just because it is the media. It doesn't matter. Like they're already rich. Doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But I can see where it irritates if someone's talking about you.
Someone talking about your kid. Like
yeah,
you're gonna fucking defend him.
yeah. So I think he kind of overreacted, but everyone has their own opinions to it.
Yeah.
I'm kind of on the it's whatever. You guys get paid for this. Like, take it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that just kind of goes to show, like, sometimes men don't really have other options. They just do what they need to do.
Yeah.
And it's not always the right thing to do, but you can't knock a man for protecting his own.
100%. And I think that obviously concludes, right, that we kind of think similar in parenthood, fatherhood. And I hope that, you guys see it through our lens or a different lens.
Yeah, but real quick, though, I want to, obviously, the protection part of it is a quality of being a father, but what else do you think makes a great father?
I got a long list, right? Providing, protecting, making sure you're there, right? Because obviously you can dedicate time to someone. I can dedicate to time, but is it quality time? No. You know, not necessarily all the time I give you is quality time. So I think giving quality time, teaching them the right things, right? Yes, sir. No, ma'am. It sounds kind of cliche, but I want my daughter to be raised like that.
Yeah.
No,
I think
sir.
that the teaching them part is like a huge aspect of what we do, right? Teaching them the right or wrongs.
I saw, fuck, God, I was trying to already end this, but it's just, there was something that came out with MGK.
Okay.
MGK does not tour when his daughter's playing volleyball.
Oh, no way.
He doesn't, because he flies every fucking weekend to Ohio to go watch his daughter play volleyball.
Really?
And he doesn't schedule tours because he doesn't want to not be there for his daughter. And then there's another interview where he goes, I'm not letting no lowlife tell my daughter she's beautiful because she's going to hear it from me first. That way she knows that that's a standard.
Yeah.
You're beautiful. You're gorgeous. You're this. You're that, right? So obviously as a dad, he's setting his daughter up for protection. But obviously your son too, right? Telling your son he's worth it. Like, you got this. Like, you can do this, right? Because we didn't hear it when we were growing up. I know I didn't.
Yeah.
Like, mine was you weren't doing shit. But anyways, that's a later topic.
I like that too, because again, I wasn't really fucking with MGK too much, especially with this beef with Eminem.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
So, yeah,
he's a weirdo. But I respect that.
Yeah, I respect that.
Yeah, 100%. But that's what I think. You know? What about you?
Yeah, I think you hit the teaching part right. I think people see me taking my daughter out on trips, me spoiling her with all that stuff. But that's not what makes me a good dad. What makes me a good dad is I'm there to teach her the rights and wrongs. I'm there to teach her morals. One of the biggest things that really try to teach her is accountability. Because not a lot of people have and I hate when people don't have accountability, bro.
Yeah.
But when she does something wrong, and and I discipline her, she can cry all she wants, and it hurts me.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let her cry it out.
Yeah.
I'll send her to the room, let her cry it out. But after she's done with her little crying session, she'll come up to me, bro. She'll be like, "Daddy, I'm sorry," and I'll make her tell me what she's sorry for.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry for being rude. I'm sorry for being mad at you, for yelling at you, or whatever it is, bro."
Yeah.
But my biggest thing is making sure she knows what she did was wrong, and taking ownership of that. Because I don't see that in a lot of people nowadays, especially women. They don't take accountability. So I think it's very important for me to teach her that, and kind of like you said, like the whole, or I don't know if it was you or MGK, like, oh, I'm gonna tell her she's beautiful, right?
MGK, yeah.
Right. You want to set that standard for them already of what love is like, So someone else or another, boy or whatever, when she does get to that age to date, she already knows what that real love is, and it starts with us. It starts with us showing them what it is and how we provide for them. And I think Andrew Tate said something like I'm gonna treat my girl like a princess. I'm gonna give her whatever she wants. I'm gonna set that standard. But the minute like you find a boyfriend or a man or whatever, like I'm gonna stop that, and now it's his responsibility, because it is, right? Like obviously we don't want to thinking about your baby girl dating some other guy. Like you obviously want a good man for her. But it's up to us to raise that standard, make sure that bar is really high, make sure that the men that they get are even higher than that.
Yeah.
But again, teaching them is probably the biggest part of being a good dad.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Obviously, that's why I named it out. You got anything else?
No, I think that's it.
Cool. To all the parents out there, like, let us know, right? Obviously, we would love to hear from you guys too. I know we laughed here and there, a couple of jokes, but we take it pretty serious, right?
Yeah.
We're all about learning and all about exploring different things. Everyone has different views, so we'd love to hear back from you guys. Obviously, we'd love for you guys to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow us on our social media.
They're gonna be right
here. So thank you guys for joining us today. It was a pleasure. And that's a wrap.
Yes, sir.